Hey, hello friends. How are you? Coffee time. It is 4:10 here in Chicago on the 3rd of February. Let's get going here with the market and see where we are. But like I've been talking, yesterday and for the past several weeks, this market is crazy. It's broken. It's really weird. We have everything pulling in all kind of directions in here. There's a lot of volatility. If you believe that yesterday was a day that you could have longed after that price section, which was pretty powerful, today we're coming back and we're basically racing that move. If you look at the Nasdaq, a very powerful move as well. At some point we were more than 2% decline on pretty solid volume. So uh, this type of moves, they come when something gets wrong, and it has been wrong for many weeks in here, with a lot of gap ups and then gap downs and then reversals and false starts, false breakouts. Software that sells off. I don't know, memory chips, memory stocks that are going up and through the roofs. NVDA that sells off. You've got all kind of broken stuff. And listen, I'm looking at the Nasdaq. It's an important part of the market, right? And I see in here how it broke right there, and then it failed to continue. This was the level where we talked from an elevator perspective that it's probably you're having some kind of a leading diagonal where this guy, it's a wave two and it starts to go, and all of a sudden you're moving back down. So there's going to be adjustments, and I don't want to talk Elliott wave until I presented some yesterday and some last week, but until we're getting a little bit of a traction, I gotta watch price, and this 50-day moving average here is key. And the further we get above it or below it, the more we can establish a trend. For right now, we've only managed to stay, back here for about 3 days. In here, about a day close, another day close. In here, another one. So we need a couple of consecutive days, that we can close towards the low and stay below that one to start to initiate further pressure on the market. If you look on the S&P, kind of the same story. Even though the breakout was just very little, it's just not looking good. The Dow Jones, all of them, the Russell, look, it bounces off the 50-day moving average. It comes on high volume. The prior day, today, there was a little bit of a bounce in here, but we closed fairly weak. So listen, I'm going to tell you this: if you've been able to make money in this market for the past 4 weeks, 6 weeks, kudos, and you could be really good at what you do, or maybe you're just going through a phase. But I tell you, I wasn't. I'm being hedged. I'm being protected. But then you have to close the edges sometimes, and it just kind of being a bit from all directions in here. And it's just not a pretty environment. And I think this is what the market is trying to do: is trying to discourage traders. It's trying to kind of throw them off before a real move begins. And I'm very curious how that is. And if it's anything like the Bitcoin is going, we could be having some serious sell-offs coming in these markets. So definitely going to watch. We'll talk about the mega caps here as well. But let's take a look at Bitcoin before we do. And today we made another low. Yesterday there was a small attempt that we could hold. We talked about the wave counts in here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5, which means that there's still further weakness. We mentioned briefly that 65 level. I think there was a level where we had pretty good, let's say, equal measurement between this decline and this decline. Even if I just do it copy paste, I guess we can try to see kind of where that goes, and just take this one and just put it there. So that sends us to about 63, which is pretty close to this longer term moving average. I don't remember what this is, but I think it's a 200 week that's in here. Yeah. So there is room to go for further equality. You got 50 that's crossing, that crossed the 200 day, and we're in this pretty heavy downtrend. So there's not much to do in Bitcoin. I would not be a hero here until price starts acting right, and so far it hasn't. So it might just go, it might just find a low and then go sideways for a few weeks until it really destroys that psychology and any bullishness, and then we can kind of form a low. But there's just so many ways this could happen, so much speculation. If you look at the monthly time frames, there's just not a lot of like, I'm not that worried when I'm looking at this monthly chart. It looks like just like your regular pullback, and you're still in a decent uptrend. A much major swing low would be this 50. If this gets taken out, then we can do, if we're going all the way, let's say that even if you do this and then you come back down here, right, then you can have a neckline right there. Then the market will turn from here a little bit and go back up higher, and then you can have some bad stuff happen, right? But this is kind of from a monthly perspective, so we'll watch it. But that's just I gotta clear this drawings. Okay, so let me show you Ethereum. It's coming into some interesting levels in here. So if we look at the weekly time frames in Ethereum and we're pulling the fib, we're into the 61.8 right here in what looks to be a nice ABC corrective, but we got to hold these levels. The closer we get to 78.6, the more dangerous this becomes, that it's breaking below this low. So definitely an interesting level that I want to see reaction from, and then eventually a move back above this 3400. Then I'll be interested, but until then, not much. And then now XRP, it's look at this guy. This is the weekly time frames. And do you remember? I'm gonna get my mug out of here and just move it up because I want to show you this at the low. So you remember this move, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? I think we've had it counted like that one time. And then it was, man, the corrective move in here, and then it's coming 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh my goodness, what is this going to do to Ripple? It's going to send it up to 20 bucks. Look what the market did, right? It just kind of crapped on all of that and just broke lower aggressively, and it continues to fall. So, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and have this some kind of a triangle in this location in here with the final fifth wave, and now we're in some kind of an ABC. Bottom line is, if this didn't work out in a 1, 2, and 2, and by the time it broke the 61.8 or this support in here, especially after this candle, it should have been thrown to the garbage, that count, and even like get out of there, right? Because you're breaking below that 50, and we've talked about the weakness in Ripple and how it's not acting right. But right now you need it to act right, so it needs to turn, and it needs to get back, and the market will tell us when it's time to kind of get involved, and it's not right now. Same for Solana. I don't spend a lot of time analyzing this guy, but I guess it's in the support. It's just not looking good. So that's where we are. Gold and silver have been coming back pretty nicely. So look, after that heavy sell-off, now the week is further from being closed, but I'm curious what happens if we end up closing in a bullish manner like this. We might revisit the top, and then same for silver, which has a beautiful reaction of the 50-day moving average, and it's bouncing pretty nicely, and I'm thinking maybe a fourth wave is underway. So if they're not selling into this making a new low, that means that the chances increase that we're actually into some kind of a fourth. You would build maybe a triangle or a complex sideways correction, and then we go higher one more time. People might be getting even more bullish back then, and then I guess it's time to get out of silver a bit later after that happens, on a final fifth wave. But that's where we are. The dollar index, it had a failed breakdown. It's coming back, so that would put pressure on risk. That's all I got. That's all I got for today. Oh yeah, let's take a look at mags and see how they're behaving. Right. So you got Amazon, which I'm looking at the weekly. Like this is ugly right here. I'm gonna tell you right now. This here. You know, guys, I'm not very good at doing at using. I guess I would have to find like. It's probably here, right? No, I'm looking for a square. Is it here? Goodness gracious, maybe here? Yeah, I think it's right there. So, what I got, a rectangle, but it's where my face is. So let me just put this down. I was looking for a rectangle. I'm so bad at TradingView because I don't use it a lot. But look, that move right there, it's a bad move. It's a reversal move. And now it's kind of pulling back, kind of corrective in here. We'll see. If you take out this high, all bets are off. But these levels here are as good as any as looking for Amazon to do some selling. It's premature. It's premature. It needs to have some serious volume bars on the downside, and that hasn't happened. So we're going to keep this. NVIDIA today, it broke, and I actually got short NVIDIA. I shorted NVIDIA at 183. I'm going to tell you exactly where I shorted it, and I'm so this morning as he was breaking the 50-day, well, I think 183.50, as he was breaking the 50-day moving average, I've gone short, and I tell you why. Because again, because of this guy here, okay, and for a stock like NVIDIA to top, it takes time. Within in a sideways move for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks, right? So that's almost like 3 months of sideways price action. And it had an attempted break higher, and that failed also. So if this is a diagonal, a leading move in here, and this was corrective, we could be looking at the next leg lower in NVIDIA. Now it's holding here, bouncing a bit off the lows, but look, they're going to go look for liquidity, and they're going to trap people right there, and then look, it reverses, and the move higher, the move lower, it's in high volume. So I'm looking at NVIDIA. I know there's not a lot to go. I'm going to stop above 193, but this level back here, towards 150, it's a good level to target on an NVIDIA short. So, it's not a massive risk reward. I don't even think it's maybe 2 to 1. So whatever. And I don't like to use leverage on these, but we'll see what happens. I'm just telling you how NVIDIA acts, and it's not been acting well. And it's just not looking bullish, because I mean, look at this, and I'm going to show you another stock. I'm going to show you CRDO. Do you see what happened here in CRDO? Look at this move. Okay, that's on the weekly time frames. Okay, that's a reversal pattern. I talked about this before. So, and look where CRDO is. It's into its into the 52-week moving average, right? We broke below the 200-day, and we're approaching the 52-week, and this is just not a good market. It can bounce from here, but I would be looking to short CRDO on bounces back towards the 50-day moving average, because this is a massive reversal pattern on the weekly time frames. Then Apple, okay, Apple. Wow, the Apple bounced. So there's not much here. I can't do anything with this. Yeah, there's not much. There's not much in Apple. Microsoft, yeah, after this very cute double top, it continues to sell off, and it's too late to do anything on the short side. But I mean, look at the massive volume last week. Netflix, ever since it broke, after it did this stop back here, right? I mean, look at what NVIDIA is doing. Doesn't it look a bit similar? You look at what Netflix did, and then sideways, and then all of a sudden it gave you a signal right there. Okay, because you can use Elliott wave. I don't have a problem with Elliott wave, but daily and weeklies, especially weeklies, it will give you the triggers. You'll be like, yes, the wave is starting. And I missed Netflix, but this was a very good. And then you obviously had to wait for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, until it gave the second signal in here, and then it gave one more in there. These were all on pretty heavy volume, and here we are continuing to look weak in Netflix. And then Google, nothing to do here. Nothing to do. Nothing to do. I will not touch this with anybody's money. And then Meta, it looked a bit short as he was kind of breaking in here, but I guess it pulled back. Now, if this is some kind of an ABC in here, boy, it needs to prove to some serious selling below the 50-day moving average, maybe below this level, to see if it's got a lot more short to go. But at this point, I would not touch it. So here we are. Oh, the other one is, let's take a look at Palantir. I mean, Palantir, it bounced off here. It had good earnings. I think today it no good, not good, not good, not good, not good, because it gapped on earnings, but it's closing lower, it's closing negative. Remember the last earnings report, it was really good and it sold off. I don't know what that was, but it's just, again, not a market that's acting very right now. It's holding at the 52. That's a major average. I think below 50 you're selling this guy. It could be one of the best entries for the long side if the market turns with the 40 RSI and at 50, but not until it breaks above these levels and maybe even above 200. It's listen, there is a couple of ways to do this. You could say, fine, I want to buy this confirmation. Let's see if this week closes higher, and that's good enough for me. But then, what if you're wrong, right? Then you got to get out below these lows, right? So it's a good risk reward for the long side, but you just got to respect, because if it does that, then all bets are off. So this is my rant for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.